Wake up from the program dream. Feel the real beneath your feet. Shut out all the hollow screams. Let your own thoughts take the lead. In every pulse that shakes the ground. In every note that dares to rise. You're not lost, you've just been found. Beneath this electric sky.
What on earth is that contraption?
My new chin massager. It helps keep the neckline firm.
Well, a fellow does appreciate a well-kept appearance.
It only takes 15 minutes a day.
Marvelous what they invent to help a lady look her best.
Anything to stay lovely.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Matrix Navigate 12, where you've just woken up and you're trying to adjust to the new world around you. And what we do, we bring these videos to you to help you see different perspectives so you can start thinking on your own and making informed decisions. So this is what this channel is about. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And let's get this video to 5 likes. So let's go. Thank you for joining me.
They're finally shutting down, y'all. And this might be the best news I've heard, bro. And you too, because who knows what these people were feeding us? Hundreds and hundreds of these big food chains are losing their power, and not because they want to, but it's because we're waking up. Listen to this, yo. Domino's is closing 200 of its locations worldwide, including 172 locations in Japan. Not to mention, they have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, so Domino's is going down. We know y'all were in the list. This guy over here, Papa John's, who looked like he's changed over the time, over the years. Look at that. Am I mistaken, bro? But nonetheless, over 200 Papa John's are closing its doors worldwide. Pizza Hut is closing down 250 of its locations, and that's only the beginning of the year, so who knows how much they're closing down this year. Wendy's is expected to close 300 to 600 of its locations worldwide, bro. Something is going on with Wendy's. Ever since Dave left, it has never been the same. Apparently, Denny's has been closing down its locations ever since 2025, and there's about 300 more about to close its doors this year. Popeyes has also filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they're closing down 136 stores between Georgia and Florida, bro. And Arby's. And honestly, I don't even know how Arby's hasn't made the list yet. I never see anyone in the parking lot. Anyone that's trying to eat this is diabolical, bro. This thing must be a glitch in the Matrix. Because what most people don't realize is that all of these places, they're all connected. They're all interconnected. The same suppliers, the same system, it's the same pipeline feeding y'all the same crap. I mean, look at this. They're all feeding you the same thing. That's why it's the same food everywhere, the same fast food everywhere, bro. We cannot get away, and now it's finally shutting down. Do y'all notice that all these quote-unquote celebrities and public figures, they're withering away now, bro? And that's because we're not feeding the beast system no more, bro. The shift is here. I've been telling y'all. Like I said, all of this is taking place in early the beginning of the year, bro. There's a lot more to come. Let me know what you guys think about this video. I told y'all the shift is here. We're in the midst of it. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Okay, so I want to talk about that. When he said, and he showed the map, and he said that we're all eating the same foods, it made me think about when I used to tell people, and I grew up in the South, and biscuits and gravy is a big thing, and a lot of people eat biscuits and gravy. I could never really get on board with that, because the first thing I thought, okay, biscuits are made of flour and water. Gravy is made of flour and water. So that's flour and water on top of flour and water. So it's just the same ingredients making a different dish. So when you look at it like that, and you look at the distributors of all of these restaurants, how they have only a limited amount of distributors, it is kind of basically the same type of foods. So it's just something to think about. So let me know what you think about it in the comments.
Oh hell, what is going on with these Cheetos? Y'all like the video? Check this out.
Just saying. Damn! And the Cheetos survived, so maybe we nobody should eat Cheetos, Because this is what the rest of the house looks like.
Nobody should eat Cheetos.
So I'm fucking done eating Cheetos.
Whoa.
Eating Cheetos.
Never eating that shit.
All hell.
I don't care how long he works and I don't care what he does. There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive? And when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor, he sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. Then he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists.
Continue to follow.
This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So, no, we never knew about this, but you've probably been familiar with the bread and circus thing. So you have to go back and think, why is it these athletes are being paid millions and millions and millions of dollars, where people, just regular everyday people who keep businesses going, are getting paid minimum wage? Okay, it doesn't make any kind of sense. And then when people go to these events, they are shoving more money into these owners' pockets and shoving more money into the athletes' pockets, and they don't need it. They don't need it. It doesn't make any sense, but it does serve as a form of distraction. So if you're wondering how your favorite team is doing and you're just putting all that energy into that team, when people do that, then it's easy for them to focus on that rather than to see what's happening in the world around them. And that's what they do. They blind people with things so they don't pay attention to what's really going on in the world.
Breaking news in Baton Rouge this afternoon, where police are in a high-speed pursuit of a man driving that's a motorized KFC bucket down Perkins Hill. Let's go to Sky 4 and our reporter Marcus.
Yeah, unbelievable sight here, Cheryl. You can see the size of this thing. It's about 6 feet across, riding on a go-kart frame.
We continue to follow breaking news in Baton Rouge this afternoon, where police are in a high-speed pursuit of a man driving that's a motorized KFC bucket down Perkins Hill. Let's go to Sky 4 and our reporter Marcus.
Yeah, unbelievable sight here, Cheryl. You can see the size of this thing. It's about 6 feet across, riding on a go-kart frame.
That's funny. That's ingenuitive too. I don't know if that video is AI or not, but it's ingenuitive.
Want something tasty and delicious? Taco Bell, Taco Bell.
I love the one and only original taste of Taco Bell's beefy tostada. They use fresh ground beef, never frozen, cooked in their own famous sauce. Real cheddar cheese, and it's made up fresh.
Come taste the one and only taste. Taco Bell, can't find it any other place. Taco Bell, come taste the one and only original. Taco Bell.
Buying junk fast foods that have no actual food in them. We buy gallons of poisonous household cleaners when one degradable soft soap will do. We are poisoning our homes and wasting our hard-earned money for no good reason. Why? Because the advertising industry tells us to. They just want you to buy stuff. For example, if a company pollutes the environment or uses bad business practices, if you don't buy their stuff, they will change. If you don't want food with chemicals or GMOs in it, don't buy it. The minute we start taking responsibility and spending our money wisely, every politician, every corporation, and leader around the world is going to know that we have woken up. And that is the most important point in this film.
he makes a very, very good point. And back to the restaurant shutting down, I think because people have realized that fast food is actually junk food, there are millions and millions of people who are deciding to take better care of their health, and they're deciding to eat better and not eat fast food so much. And I think it's making an impact. So if we do take our money and we spend it otherwise, and we spend it within our communities, that means the big guys won't get the money, and the hardworking people in our communities get the money. So it will circulate and help build up where we are, instead of our money going to some big conglomerate which is going to vote against us later. And when I say vote against us, they're going to choose policies that benefit them. Everything out there that is a conglomerate, they're going to do things that benefit them, not the customer. And there's an old saying that says the customer is always right. That's not true. That's also an illusion. Whatever a business is going to do, they're going to do it to benefit the business, not the customer.
That's why you almost never hear your doctor talk about fasting, because if everybody started doing it, the entire healthcare industry would lose billions. There's no profit in doing nothing. Dietitians, nutritionists, doctors would all go out of business. Think about it. Fasting doesn't need a powder, a pill, or a prescription. It is literally subtraction, not eating for a certain period of time, and yet it is one of the most powerful metabolic resets known to science. When you fast, insulin levels will drop. Your body switches into fat burning and cellular cleanup. Autophagy kicks in your body, literally starts recycling damaged cells. It is like your body hit that reset button that no supplement can do for you. Truth is, fasting heals because it gives your body space to do what it was designed to do. God built your body to repair itself, but the modern world keeps us eating spiking glucose and insulin, silencing the natural repair system. There is no money in teaching people how to heal themselves. That's why.
Okay, that's a good point, and that all of this is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research, but I've been hearing for years that 3 days of fasting actually resets your whole system. In some cases, people have fasted and they have gotten rid of diabetes. People have fasted and they've gotten rid of the C word. People have fasted and gotten rid of high blood pressure. So when you think about the foods, and I'm not just talking about fast food. I'm also talking about processed food and ultra processed foods in our grocery stores that are now filled with all different kinds of chemicals that we can't even pronounce, but they have a profound effect on the body when consumed over time. So they say that fasting is a way, just like he was saying, it will cleanse your system and get all of that out of your system. And one of the things that really that's really hard for people who are addicted to food, they're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. That's because your body is trained to eat at a certain time. We're not meant to do that. We're not meant to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there's videos out there of people actually saying how breakfast was something that was designed so that the customers can sell cereal, so they can sell bread, so they can sell toasters and things like that. There was one video that I watched that a company was complaining that it was an electric company, I believe, that was complaining because they weren't putting out a lot of electricity during the daytime, So therefore, another company invented the toaster so people can get up and start using appliances in the morning time. So think about now, how many appliances do people use in the morning time because they eat breakfast? They use the coffee maker. They may use the toaster. They open the refrigerator. They use the stove to make breakfast. So that all of those things generate electricity. So it keeps the power plants going. So when you think about it, it's just all a big, huge, diabolical plan.
When it crunches, that's why I love Nestle Crunch. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
The blend of Nestle's creamy milk chocolate with crunchies tastes just as good as it sounds.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
It was a global phenomenon.
Jung revealed
the science answer is mostly based on Carl Jung's psychological theories about the collective unconscious, which means that on some level that we are not consciously aware of, there is a connection between our psyches. And a couple of examples of this are, at the start of the pandemic, there was a global phenomenon of vivid dreaming. And that hasn't happened in the world since the last World War.
Globally, this was happening.
Yeah, that literally, me in my country house in England, you in LA, someone in a tiny village in Africa, we were all experiencing that, and it was mostly anxiety-based, which completely makes sense.
Your mental health matters. The mental health that you have today is being compromised, and it's being programmed by major media and by calculated content that is being pushed into your brain. And it is called programming. Programming your brain. Programming for you to believe certain things, to fear certain things, programming you to receive fear. You need to get out there and you need to stop feeding your brain with fear programming. You're addicted to fear porn, and that is ruining your life. That is actually keeping you from doing what you can do. You are caught up in the fear, and there's no reason to fear anything but fear itself.
Jung revealed one of the darkest truths about humanity. Collective fear is a force more powerful than reason. Entire societies can be swept into hysteria, violence, or blind obedience when the shadow of fear spread. It's not just individuals, it's a pulse that infects millions, driving actions no one would take alone. The shocking truth? Collective fear is already controlling your world, whether you see it or not. Jung's warning, confront the shadow or it will shape your reality. Please subscribe.
That is so true. That is so true. There is a collective fear that is going on. You look at everything that is going on. You have the war in Iran. You have the files. You have the fires. You have the flooding. There's so many things. And also people waking up to the fact that we're being hacked in our brain. We're being hacked in our body. So they take that collective energy and use it to their benefit. So that's how they've been able to keep doing what they're doing, because there is a consciousness of fear. Imagine if that consciousness of fear flipped to a consciousness of courage. And understanding that what we grew up to believe was true, everything is a lie, and people just need to change their consciousness and not sit in a fear-based reality. Sitting in a fear-based reality has allowed us to become, or allowed our country to become what it has become, because that fear is used to control. Period.
Ma'am, we got a call about a disturbance. Can we step in?
This is my house! Oh my God. You have no warrant! Move right now!
Is that your bird?
Get out!
After the release of the Epstein files, this video took on a completely different meaning.
It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Good evening, godless sodomites.
What are you doing?
I'm bringing the truth, John. We're in Hollywood, the belly of the beast.
You can't just read the prompter?
I'm reading the prompter in here. You can read that pablum.
Reality television celebrates the human condition.
It warps the minds of our children and weakens the resolve of our allies.
We're here to honor achievement in that category.
By giving you a golden idol to worship. Kneel before your God, Babylon!
Everything about the Oscars is actually an ancient Egyptian ritual.
What?
Yes, fam. This is the Egyptian god Ptah. P-T-A-H. What does it look like?
Oh,
it looks just like the Oscars. Just like the Oscar. Boom. Same The whole Oscar itself is actually a copy of an old ancient Egyptian god that they used to worship and do the ritual to give praise to craftsmen, artists, and architects. Ptah is an ancient Egyptian creator god primarily worshipped in Memphis, regarded as a divine architect. So this was like their god for artistry.
So it's not bad.
But why are they doing ancient Egyptian rituals at the Oscars though? Everything about ancient Egypt, those type of rituals, lead back to Freemasonry. Because the pyramids, Illuminati eye, it all adds up, fam. Them doing these ceremonies, it's literally showing their praise to an ancient Egyptian god. Oh my.
People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Talking of all you it was a big year for movies. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. Fifth time. And it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it, I didn't, you did.
That is... He was telling the truth. And I'm glad that he did that, because it takes a lot of courage to get up there and just speak and tell it like it is. And they don't like that. You saw the expressions on their faces. They didn't like that. But, and the 2 clips before that telling you about the Oscars. The one with Stephen Colbert and the other guy. They mask the truth in comedy and make people laugh, so they would think, like you and me will think, that it's a joke, but they're actually telling the truth. You told the truth. So that's how they do it. Oh my God.
I'll be honest. I don't know if I'm pissing these fallen angels off or doing them a favor. I know I at least pissed that one off. You know, that one, Mike L. Phelps. You know, the one that flaps his wings like an angel, even before he golfs, apparently. You know, the one that suspiciously looks like a writer H.P. Lovecraft who loved to write about water. You know, Mike L., who is surrounded by all these gold medals. And do you ever see what's on it? Oh, it looks like an angel. And boy, if it's an upside down angel, it sure looks like it's falling. And well, if this was really such a ridiculous theory, do you really think he'd be in my comments saying, don't speak about me again?
Oh. The Rothschilds come from the Orsini family. Roth means red in German, and the Orsini means red bear, little red bears. That's what Orsini means. The Grey Pope is Pepe Orsini. He trumps the black, he trumps the white Pope.
The Grey Pope is even higher than the black and the white Pope.
The Orsini is the Maxima family. They are the maximum family. They are on top. And somehow they've trumped the Colonna and the Farnese, which I know without any doubt through all my studies that they are the 3 most powerful Illuminati.
What about Rothschild and Rockefeller?
Well, they are Orsini. They just changed their name. Rockefeller were Rothschilds. Rothschilds were Orsini. Orsini were a family which have their lines in Babylon and Egypt. They tell you that. You read their biographies, they'll tell you that. We go back to Nimrod, they tell you that. The Rothschilds say that. We go back to Nimrod. How? Through the Orsini. So Rockefeller, Rothschild, Orsini, and then you go back to the Persian and Egyptian dynasties. The Rothschilds come from the...
I had no idea I was going to be talking about Nephilim and UFOs and aliens and files that are being released and all this kind of stuff. But God did. As we get closer and closer, the darker and darker it's going to get. The thing that shakes me to my core, gives me chills, and literally, this is not a cliche, keeps me up at night, gives me dreams, I worry about all the time, is that pastors and leaders of the church are afraid to talk about what we're talking about. And that is why there will be such a great falling away, because we have not equipped them to be able to handle this. And so to answer your question, do I believe we'll make it to 2030? If I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would say maybe, yeah, because why I say that is because there's so much being said about 2030. The last time we was here, we talked about Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030 is almost like it's gone underground right now. When the liberals were in charge, that's all we heard from the World Economic Forum. That's all we heard from the United Nations, 2030, 2030. Everything's 2030. In fact, a lot of it's been scrubbed now, but one time I did an experiment. I went to, I don't know if I should drop some brand names, but I should say the most famous soft drink company. I went to their website. Many of the television networks, I went to their website. I went to a lot of major brands, and I just simply searched 2030 on their websites. Every single major corporation that I could find had an entire page dedicated to what they wanted to do by 2030.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The soft drink company, I have family that works there and was able to tell me that too, that there were discussions that were going on. So these companies all were told to get something ready by 2030. So it was everywhere.
Almost like that ESG stuff back in the day.
Back in the day, everything was ESG. Everything was, the 17 sustainable goals by the United Nations, Agenda 2030. Felt so free to say that. Then, of course, Trump came on the scene. So then he started destroying all this woke agenda and everything. So they started scrubbing that. But what I tell people on our channel all the time is, listen, they don't change their mind. The forces out there, their plans that they have, they don't care what we say and who's in office. They don't change their mind. They just go underground. So that being said, I believe it's interesting that you would ask about 2030. I think between now and 2030, we can't even fathom the change that is coming. AI is going to be a huge part of that. Disclosure is going to be a huge part of that. No matter what they say, 26 or 27 about UFOs and aliens, can you imagine how that narrative, once it's out, once anything is out, no matter what they say, if they admit that we have anything, that we've ever been in touch with anything, and they don't go any further than that, can you imagine how that narrative will be developed by 2030?
Now, the last couple of videos, I didn't say a whole lot because they were very descriptive in the message that I'm trying to convey. So, again, do your own research, find these things out for yourself. You can look up Agenda 2030 and find out what the details about that is. Even though we're not hearing about it anymore, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So, educate yourselves, friends.
Physical bodies are here, another physical body, and this is Joe, and this is Jim, and this is Sarah, etc. Now let's draw another level. This level is slightly higher, and let's call this the level of the soul, yeah? Well, there will be some mingling here. Let's draw this person as extending to practically infinity this way. Now look what happens. At the physical level, we're separate, and there's this much distance between us. Let's say that on the soul level, this person extends this much, and the other person gets slightly mixed in with him. That is, the souls are in a way
in touch with each other. Okay, they overlap, these two lines. Now let's go now to a higher level, and let's call this, say, the level of the higher self, which is kind of a boss of the soul. There, what we find is that this fellow's higher self extends this much, and the other fellow's extends this much. There is more overlap between them. On the very highest level, which is the high spiritual level, we are basically overlapping completely. Everybody is overlapping everybody else. In other words, everything and everyone is everywhere. In other words, we've become omnipresent.
Remember, you are a soul in a human experience, not in a spiritual experience.
Look at
That's awful.
It sounds so good.
Cause you're the hottest chicken plate. I put my nothing. You wanna hug me, but now we hug me. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, now you was so try to domesticate, but you're an animal, baby. It's in your nature. Just let me liberate.
I thought that was a pretty good video lineup. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope I've given you a lot of things to think about. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Please be nice and respectful to everyone else. And we'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and share, and share, and subscribe. So we can do more videos, because I like doing this, and I think there's more people out there like me than I realize. So I want to meet you guys. I want to mingle. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.